Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show, and I'm always on the hunt for new creators on YouTube who I see are really up and coming, and I think I've found one that I really like. I'm actually excited to talk about this video here. Her name is Jackie Baker. She's a real estate agent in New Jersey, and she posted this video that I really have to talk about. It's titled, Home Upgrades People Regret After Moving In. And surprisingly, I think this video could save people a ton of money if they just give it a listen. So I'm going to link to her channel down below in the description. I highly recommend you just go and subscribe to her. I'm sure it'll make her day. She has no idea I'm making this video. And also, big thank you to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video, but more on that later because I want to comment on this and share my own thoughts because, like I said, it's going to save you a lot of money. Let's begin.
When I work with home buyers, the most exciting part of it is watching my buyers get excited about getting ready to move into the house and make all the changes to make the house theirs. It is so exciting. But there are some things that people have done to their homes, such as renovations, that they ended up regretting.
I'm going to tell you, I had the same experience, but it always worries me. When I see people going in for the first time, they're like, oh, we could do this and we could do this. I warn people. I tell you, like, hey, just expect you're going to spend double. Like, whatever budget you get, double it. And then what you need to do is, if you think it's going to take a month, it'll take 2 months. If you think it'll take 2 months, give it 3 to 4 months. Like, everything goes over budget and takes longer than you expect. And so my biggest thing is just like setting the expectation that, like, if you get a contractor bid, add on to it. And the issue isn't so much the contractor. What ends up happening when you do any renovation is that you walk through the property and say, okay, I want to put a window here. Okay, fine. And then the contractor starts demoing the wall, putting the window in, and then you realize, well, maybe I could put a slider door in there instead because the whole wall is open and it might be nice to have an exit right there. Let me do that. And then now that the wall is open, well, maybe I could get the upgraded slider or, you know, the doors that open up instead of the slider. And everything starts like leveling up. And then practically you basically have built a new house by the time you're done with it. So go in with the expectation that money is just going to be pouring out the door and you're going to change your mind on things.
What I love is my clients will actually call me back a year or two after they've been in the house and they've made changes, made some renovations, and they always bring me back to see the changes they made and the progress. And it's so exciting. It's so much fun.
I'm really sorry, Jackie. I got to say this. The picture frames in the back look a little uneven. Now, I would normally think this is just a wide angle lens that's distorting the pictures, but you could see the one in the middle, the upper middle, it's not even. And I think if you do that little change and then add some greenery coming in, it's really going to set up the shot a little bit better. Minor changes, Jackie, minor changes, but add some greenery, even a fake plant, level those, you're good to go.
First one is those extensive backyard kitchens. The big fancy Viking grill, the big refrigerator, the sink, beautiful patio. It's great. The whole idea of that is great. However, what people have come to realize is that they've become underutilized, especially for those who live in the northern part of the country where they can only use it during the summer months.
I would say it's a waste overall, unless if you have a really high-end property and you feel like having that outdoor kitchen is just the norm. Like sometimes over the $2 to $3 million range, it's almost like it's standard to have a bit of an outdoor kitchen and spending the extra like 15 grand to go and like build that out. Fine. But you know what? You know what you could do for a fraction of the price if you want to grill outside? Go and get a barbecue. Get one of like the nice barbecues for like $500 at Home Depot or Lowe's, or just go on Facebook Marketplace and people are practically giving them away. Go and use that instead, because I will say, if you spend 15 grand on it, you're probably going to use it like twice right after you get it because you're all excited about it. And then it gets dirty and then it sits there. It's outside. And then you have to clean it every single time. It's hard to keep clean and it's a pain. And then you have to walk inside to like grab stuff and take it out. It's usually not worth it. I would recommend save the money. Just get a barbecue unless it's the norm for the area, in which case you're kind of forced to do it because everyone else is doing it. And like if you don't have it, your home is less desirable. It's rare. For most people, don't do it. I would agree.
Putting in swimming pools, and I'm talking about above ground and in-ground pools. Yes. And I know, come at me, people are going to tell me I'm nuts. But here's the thing. What people have found is that they didn't take into account the added expense to maintain a pool.
Yeah, so just for reference, I pay about $150 to $175 a month for the pool people to come by the house and just clean the pool, do all the chemicals. I'm sure I could learn to do it myself and save the money. It's simpler to have someone else do it, and then they're responsible for something, and I can't mess it up. But yeah, that's an extra $175 a month, let's just say. And then all the additional cost of like adding in water. Like in the summer, it's just water evaporates. It just goes into the air. It's poof, it's money just evaporating. And it's got to be filled back up. That's expensive. It can be. So now I'm looking at like a higher water bill on top. So it's like, do you really use the pool that much? You know, if you only go in once a month, you have to add up the cost of like, you know, every time you go in, maybe you're spending like $500, $400, you know, of using the pool a few times a year. Is it worth it? Probably not. They're nice to look at. Okay, I will give you that. They're really nice to look at. And for resale value, they can help. But if you don't get practical use out of it, you might want to question it.
The other problem is that it makes your homeowner's insurance go up.
Look, honestly, all of this is a perfect example that things just cost way more money than you expect, and a lot of it's just a waste and can get far ahead of you if you don't pay close attention to your budgets, track your expenses, and just stay on top of it. Like, I've been meticulously tracking my expenses for over a decade now, and if there's one thing that's gonna set you apart financially, it's this. Like, most people have no idea where their money gets spent, even fewer people create a budget, and if you want to be the exception to this, save more money, and build long-term wealth, then I'd highly recommend our sponsor, Rocket Money. For those unaware, Rocket Money is an all-in-one personal finance app that lets you cancel unwanted subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better all in one place. Like, one of my favorite features is how easy it is to cancel unwanted subscriptions. Just connect your bank account and Rocket Money will identify all of your recurring charges in a single list. From there, you can select the ones that you don't want anymore, and Rocket Money may be able to help you cancel them in just a few taps. On top of that, they could also help you lower bills because Rocket Money will automatically scan your expenses to find savings. With just a couple clicks, Rocket Money can help negotiate bills on your behalf, from internet to cable to phone bills. With Rocket Money, you don't need to worry about customer service calls. Just let the app's negotiators work on your behalf to find the best possible rate. This is why Rocket Money has helped save its customers up to $740 a year when you use all of the app's premium features. They've also helped save their customers over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. Honestly, I check Rocket Money pretty much daily to go over my expenses, make sure everything's on track, and get reminders anytime I've exceeded a certain spending category. So go ahead and take control of your finances today. Just go to rocketmoney.com/GrahamStephan to get started for free and to unlock even more features with premium. The link is also down below in the description. Thank you so much, and now let's get back to the video.
And we've been talking about homeowners insurance a lot on this channel, haven't we? So that's something that you have to take into consideration.
You know what's crazy is that Ben Mala actually talked about this in his video. They had the horrible just storms in Florida, and his pool was destroyed. Like, he has whole videos about everything just being submerged in salt water. The whole pool had to be, you know, dug back up because there was sand in it. And he said insurance wouldn't cover that because it's like outdoor equipment. The insurance only covers the inside of the house, not the exterior. So all of that, the pool was just not covered by homeowners insurance. And he was going and adding up the cost of like replacing the heaters and the pumps and all this stuff. And it was like $100,000, $200,000 just out of pocket that insurance isn't covering, even though he has probably really good homeowners insurance. So that has to be taken into consideration that, you know, if you're paying for something like that, is it really covering the pool? Or is it just liability if someone falls in and something happens?
It probably adds about 7% to your home value. So let's do the math here. So say you have a $500,000 house and you spent $50,000 on that pool. So your home value raised about $35,000 with that pool, 7%, but you spent $50,000. You see, it's not worth the investment, really.
It also really depends on the area, and again, what's customary. Like, if you go to a $10 million house in Los Angeles, guaranteed they all have a pool. If it didn't have a pool, it would be kind of weird, and it would have to be like, you know, it's a hillside property, maybe a pool's just not feasible, whatever. Or really hot climates, it just makes sense to have a pool. Do what's customary, and then, if it's not customary or it's like, you know, an extra, are you really gonna use it? You know, or you could just take a bath instead. It's like the same thing. Actually, you know what I will say? The best bang for the buck, if you want something like that, is just one of those above ground jacuzzi things. New, you could probably get them for like 10 grand. Used, check Facebook Marketplace for like the above ground jacuzzis. You'll get a lot of use out of that. the maintenance isn't too bad, and you can just haul it away when you're done with it.
Those big wooden structures, and it has the slides, the swings, all the stuff. And the reason why people regret putting those in is because over time the kids get older and they lose interest. And those playgrounds, they're not cheap. I mean, we're talking anywhere from $3,000 to upwards to over $10,000.
Gosh, why use that? With kids these days, they just want an iPad, right? And iPads aren't $10,000. And plus, think of it this way. Kids could get hurt on this thing. Imagine what happens. Your kid trips, falls, gets a scrape. You could keep the kid inside these days, safe, with an iPad.
And this is especially for you first-time homeowners. Don't overindulge on the appliances. It's not worth it. Stick with the basics from Maytag, Whirlpool, whatever. You don't need to go all high-end and fancy.
I agree. And the thing with the technology and stuff like this on a refrigerator is the thing gets dated. It's like, I'm sure in 5 years from now, there's going to be a quantum computer. It's somehow going to control this refrigerator with AI. And it's going to, like, talk to you, and it's going to have conversations. It'll be a therapist. Like, it'll trade stocks in your behalf. And, like, meanwhile, this thing, you see the temperature? I never got the point of these things. Like, a touch screen on the refrigerator? No. Just get the good one with just, flat surface, and you go on the inside and you can adjust the little temperature gauge. What on earth do you need any more technology on a refrigerator than just a knob to adjust the temperature? That's it. I don't need to see what's inside of it because you could open it up. I don't need to see the weather because I can look outside. I'd rather just save the money.
Big freestanding bathtubs. You know what I'm talking about. Those big white tubs. They're very sleek and modern looking. People have regretted that. Why? Well, number one, it takes up a lot of space. Number two, they found them hard to clean and keep tidy.
Gosh, it's the amount of water. That's the problem, is that we got a tub like that and it came with the house. Like, it's not by choice. And it maybe gets used 3 times a year. You have to consciously think about all right, I'm taking a bath. And then I feel bad because it's deep and it just fills forever, right? You turn it on, you think, oh, that's a lot of water coming out. It'll be filled in 3 minutes. Nope. No, it does not. It just sucks water into the abyss and then you just drain it away. I'm not a bath person, obviously. I think it's a waste.
Converting a garage to living space. This is a thing that many people regretted.
This is right up my alley. That's what I've done. So my duplex, I converted the garage into an office. Loved it. Best use of space ever. Guess what I'm filming in now? It's like a half-converted garage. I get so much use out of the garage space. For me, the garage is like the safe place. Like, the garage is mine. The garage is a place that I could go to just get away from it all. It's my space. It's quiet. It's separate from everything else. You just get work done. You can focus. I'm a huge fan of garages to living spaces. But let's see what she has to say about this, though. I'm a fan of it.
Here's a problem that people found with this is that it doesn't really flow well with the rest of the house. So you're not changing the footprint of the house. You're just using that garage. It's kind of awkward. Like, oh, let's go watch TV in the den. And you got to go into the area.
This is a guy thing. Guys love hanging out in the garage. Hey man, let's go hang out in the garage. Put the game on. Guys love this stuff. She's coming at it from the perspective of not a guy. Dudes love this. So if you're a guy, probably chances are you're going to want to turn the garage into a man cave. Put a pool table in there, put some pinball machines in it. Have fun with it. This is your space. Enjoy it.
Most buyers want to have a garage. So if you converted one of the bays or you converted the entire garage into living space, you probably are going to have a hard time reselling that because, again, you're limiting your pool of buyers when you don't have a garage.
Here's what I would do. Just keep the garage door up there. Make it still functional as a garage, but make sure the garage door is insulated. What I've done is put up curtains over one side of there, so you don't really see that side, but it's still a functional garage. You could still use it as that, but you could put down carpet, you could put down hardwood floors, the garage door still opens, you could paint it, you could make it really nice, you could put in a HVAC unit in there, one of those little splits that you put in the wall. You could make it basically a living room without fully converting it into a living room.
Converting a bedroom into a walk-in closet. At the end of the day, you've lost a bedroom. Yes. And what's going to happen when you go to sell the house? you don't have that bedroom space, and buyers are going to be turned off by that.
That's why you always got to convert it back into it. Like, I'm a firm believer of like proper staging in a house. You're gonna get ready to sell. If you have a 5-bedroom house and one of those bedrooms is a closet, you'll see such a high ROI by converting that back into a bedroom before you list it for sale. Never sell a bedroom as a closet, because I agree, it's going to turn off some buyers, and they're just going to adjust that in their price anyway. So you may as well just make it back into a bedroom.
Once you've moved into the house and you're thinking, all right, we got to make changes, I'm going to give you some tips on how to manage that. Address any repairs. If you moved into the house and there are some things that do need to get repaired immediately, get those taken care of first and foremost. Get that done, get it out of the way.
Yeah, I agree with that, because otherwise, if you don't do it immediately, what's going to happen is that you're never going to do it. I promise you, you have to do it before you move in. Otherwise, it never gets done. There's so many repairs that I've just put off because it's like, oh, we're already here. It's not that urgent. Get it done. Get it done, and it's easier when you're not moved in. A bajillion times easier.
You want to get a budget and stick with it. And when you're planning that budget, tack on another 20% on top of that as a buffer to cover any unexpected costs that may come up. Because I will guarantee you, when you're doing renovations, speaking from experience, it's going to cost you.
What did I say? That's the same thing. I'm way more conservative. I'm just like double it. But yeah, sure, add 50%. Add 50% and double the time frame. That's probably more realistic.
And finally, consider your renovation timeline. And I know this is difficult when you're working with contractors because, you know, they get tied up in projects and then that delays your project. So get a realistic timeline as far as the renovation and how long that's going to take to complete.
Yeah, it's tough to get a contractor that sticks on a timeline. It's rare. Like, if you find a contractor who stays on budget with the timeline that they advertised, oh, keep them. They're few and far between. They exist, but my experience has been overwhelmingly that they will always take longer. Communication is sometimes sparse. You really got to keep on them. The reason is because they juggle multiple projects. So it's kind of like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So whichever customer is complaining the most is like, hey, come back. They typically go for that person. So, you know, just keep that in mind.
I hope you found this video so valuable. This is going to help you make the right changes to your home when you move in.
So let me know what you guys think of this down below in the comments section. I'm also really happy for Jackie and her success on this channel, so I'll link to her down below in the description. And don't forget, if you want a budget for renovations like this, check out Rocket Money down below in the description as a sponsor of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.